What do you do when your child hates doing a particular assignment or really does not enjoy one part of a course that you're doing in homeschool? This is a question that nearly every homeschool parent has probably asked themselves at one time or another. First, resistance happens at different levels. If you have a child that never listens to you and is very resistant to pretty much everything, you might not think you can even homeschool that child. Or you might be thinking of giving up on homeschooling. And if you feel like you should homeschool, but your child's behavior is very difficult, I have some encouragement and tips that can help you and your child. A child that never listens to you is an indication of a relationship and behaviors that need attention. Sending the child to school to avoid the problems often makes the problems and the relationship worse. I have had a couple of very resistant children who were initially so hard to homeschool, and it took so much persistence and patience and time to figure out how to create a beautiful relationship and positive behaviors with these children. But it worked. It happened. Homeschooling offers the beautiful opportunity to truly figure out your children's behavior problems and build a wonderful relationship where your child will listen to you, where your child will learn from you, where you will be your child's greatest friend and greatest influence. If your child is extremely resistant, it will take a lot of studying and learning and trial and error and a lot of time and patience. It will require your commitment, but it is worth it. I am more toward the end of parenting young children, and as my kids are currently 23, 21, 17, 13, and 10, I will tell you that nothing that I have ever done has been so fulfilling and meaningful than building beautiful behaviors and relationships with my children. It is worth any effort. Today's information is more for parents who have children who are sometimes resistant to certain assignments and subjects. If your child is completely resistant to your guidance and homeschooling in general, this information in this video will help, but there is a lot more to fixing that behavior, including evaluating major underlying problems such as too much screen time, behaviors affected by unhelpful media, books, and friends, or needing to work on your parenting style and approach with a child, which can be hard to admit and work through. I went through that myself, but it is a blessed journey that will change not only the child, but you. The blessing of figuring out how to parent your child and to create beautiful behaviors and relationships with them is one of the greatest things you can ever accomplish in your life. I hope to do more videos on this topic in the future. For now, let's dig into what to do when your child becomes resistant to an assignment or a subject. First, it's important to remember that one of the blessings of homeschool is that you can adapt learning to your child's specific needs and interests. You don't have to follow the curriculum exactly as written. You can make adaptations for your own child. However, it is also important to remember that children need to learn how to do hard things and to do things they don't want to do. And they also need to learn the important skills like writing, spelling, and math. And those things really do not happen through osmosis. They do take intentional work. Along with teaching your child academics, you are also teaching them life skills. For example, learning how to do hard things, learning how to do an assignment that they don't love with a good attitude. They might find that they actually really do love the subject and the assignment, and learning how to follow instructions in a course book. So if your child is resistant to a subject or assignment, find out in a loving way why your child is struggling with the assignment. Your child might not even know, so you might have to do a little bit of prompting and questioning to get down to the heart of it. And I really recommend not doing that until your child is calm and happy. Definitely approach your conversation as if you are sincerely interested in understanding them rather than that you are frustrated and disappointed in them. Once you understand, include your child to come up with a solution. This will teach them the life skill of learning how to come up with ideas to solve problems and to work through hard things in life. For example, if they don't like a writing assignment, determine if it is every writing assignment that they don't like, or is it just this particular writing assignment, and does it matter if they are writing on the assigned topic or not? That is something you have to decide. Maybe you say that sometimes they do have to write about things that they don't like, and sometimes they can adapt the assignment. So maybe you say that one writing assignment in the whole course book, they are going to have to do just how it is written, but the rest of them, they can write on a different topic, whatever interests them. Or maybe they're allowed to adapt their own interest every other writing assignment. If the child doesn't like writing any assignments, try to find out what the reason is. Do they not like handwriting? Maybe they can dictate the assignment to you and do oral narration while you type it out. And then you gradually have them do some of the writing, like writing the first line and later the first paragraph while you do the rest. Do they need to have it broken into little pieces? Do they just need a little break or break it out over multiple days? Would they like you to start it and then maybe they finish it? Or maybe you each do every other paragraph. These kind of compromises are fine as long as the child is learning and growing. However, I personally feel that it's important that we don't just let our children compromise on everything, because it's just not how life works. And it is wonderful to teach them skills through working through hard things. And it may not lead to the very best education and life skills if we always compromise. Imagine that a child doesn't like spelling dictation and they don't like their handwriting course, but those are both things that you feel like they really need to do. Rather than compromising, sometimes you sit down with them and ask them to help you come up with a plan on how to make it more enjoyable for them. Maybe there's a reward system. Maybe you need to get scented markers for them to use for their spelling. Maybe they get to have a healthy snack and drink while they do their handwriting and listen to their favorite music. Maybe do it in a fun space or have them wrap up in a cozy blanket and choose a stuffed animal to sit with them. Every child is going to show some resistance to some things while learning, and the solution is going to be different for every child. The keys are finding out the solution with love, genuine concern, and patience. So modeling patience and problem solving to your children is one of the best things you can do to make homeschooling successful and joyful. Including the child in developing a compromise or a solution to improve will bless their entire lives. Just remember that some of those things will require patience, persistence, and continual problem solving, but persist in gentle persuasion and in love. One last tip is to try to not make your child do the hardest things for them when they are tired or not having a great day. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you will share it with others who say they can't homeschool because they have a difficult child, or they want to give up because they have a difficult child, or they don't get along with their child. I love sharing ideas for making homeschooling easier because I know how homeschooling changes families and changes lives. I look forward to seeing you again in another video.